So I was on Twitter the other day and I saw this story while scrolling, and after reading into it a bit more, it's left me overall a bit confused on whose side I should be on. Essentially what happened is a dude named Jimmy Galligan obtained a 3-second clip of his fellow classmate Mimi Groves saying the N-word while rapping to a song. This video was recorded and sent about 3 years ago, I think more than 3 years ago, but Galligan held onto the clip and released it when he felt it would do the most damage to her. So when Groves was accepted into her dream college, the University of Tennessee, Galligan released the video to the public, which eventually led to Groves getting kicked out of the college. That's the basic gist of the story. Now, there is a New York Times article that is extremely long, which goes into more detail on the whole situation, so if you just want to get the full detailed report, you can check that out after watching this video. I'll make sure to link it in the description. However, what I want to accomplish in this video is essentially understanding the case from both perspectives, from both points of views. I'll try to observe the incident from the standpoint of those who support Jimmy Galligan and those who support Mimi Groves in this scenario. Just to clarify, again, I'm not saying I support either of these standpoints, but I'm just going to explain how I would defend each of these people in this video in 2 different sections. I don't think there's any more need for introduction, so let's just hop right into it. The N-word is a racist slur, period. It should never be said by anyone, especially someone who is not even black. The only reason it became acceptable is because black people took a word that was meant to keep them down and they transformed it into something that they can now use as a sort of you to the people who used it and still do use it to discriminate against them. But when a white person uses the N-word, it's simply racist, as it was their people who originally used the word negatively towards African Americans. Jimmy Galligan was simply trying to make a stand against racism because his prior complaints on the issue to teachers and administrators had gone nowhere. If he had not released the video at the time when it would do the most damage, which in this case was when Mimi Groves got accepted into college, then his anti-racist message would not have become as widespread, which was exactly his intention when he decided to take this stand. There had to be one extreme example of the dire consequences that one could face and should face when they do decide to use racist slurs, so as to be a cautionary warning for people to not use slurs or derogatory phrases in general. Mimi Grove should have never even considered uttering the N-word out loud, especially on video. She was basically asking for the backlash and punishment she received. Even if she didn't mean to say the N-word or said it without malicious intent, the word was still said on video, and that alone is extremely racist, insensitive, and enough means to keep her out of college, especially considering the discrimination and just overall treatment of black people in America. Racism is a major problem here in the United States, and this case will definitely show people that racism is overall wrong, obviously, and that it has major consequences if you decide to practice it. This is why the defenders of Jimmy Galligan are plainly in the right. How in the world can you judge someone's character based off of a stupid mistake made over 3 years ago? You cannot, and that's why it's ridiculous that Mimi Groves was kicked out of the college she was aspiring to attend simply because she was rapping a song and happened to say the N-word in a private message on Snapchat. That's another thing. No one else was meant to see that video except the one friend she actually sent it to. So the fact that it's being used against her publicly is ridiculous when she had no intention or desire for anyone to see it except for her sole confidant. The fact that a person she barely knew held on to a 3-second clip of her for 3 years just to release it when he knew that it would cause the most damage to her life and future is near psychopathic. She should not be punished as severely as she has been for simply making a mistake. Hell, we're all human. Each and every one of us has made a mistake before, and I guarantee there are plenty of people of all races who have said the N-word before and faced absolutely no backlash or repercussions. So why should this single poor girl be punished so insanely for doing something that essentially thousands of other people have done before her, which is saying a word? It's not like she went all out and committed a hate crime or anything like that. All she did was say a single word. No one was physically hurt, no one was stirred by this message. Yes, the word indeed does have racist connotations to it, and her parents should definitely have had a talk with her about the use and history of the word. But the idea of denying her entry into college because of it, and the date of the occurrence of the incident being 3 years ago on top of all that, is absolutely mental. Jimmy Galligan is definitely a psychopath who purposely attempted to ruin another girl's life and entire future undoubtedly for slipping up but a single time, and he succeeded, so I hope he's happy living with his actions. There is no world or dimension where Mimi Groves' life should be a living hell over something in the far past, and the sole crook to blame for this is evidently Jimmy Galligan. Yes, I agree that Groves made a mistake, but she should not be facing the consequences she is. They're far too severe for what she did in reality. This is why the defenders of Mimi Groves are clearly in the right. Well, if you guys made it to the end of the video, I hope you enjoyed me being a schizophrenic today. But all jokes aside, I thought this would be the best way to tackle this case without directly taking a side because, to be quite honest, I think both parties are partly at fault. Mimi Groves should have never said the N-word, and definitely not in a video at that, but I don't think she should be kicked out of college over it, especially when this all happened over 3 years ago. People change drastically over that long of a period of time, so you can't really judge her character based off of that, at least in my opinion. As for Jimmy Galligan, I do think part of him wanted to do the right thing and make a stance against racism in America. That's all good. However, saving a video of a classmate only to release it at a time when he knew it would significantly damage her life is pretty fucked up in its own right and borderline sociopathic, especially when you consider that the video is from over 3 years ago. But honestly, what do you guys make of this whole scenario? I'm interested to see what other people think, not just my own opinion, so yeah, let me know down in the comments. That's going to be about it from me, so I hope you guys take care of yourselves, and I will be catching you all in the next one.